Hello everyone. We will proceed with our 11th chapter, New Kings and Kingdoms. Today we will discuss about the administration of the empire. How did the administration organized? The kings had a council of ministers to help him. He had a strong army and navy. The empire was divided into mandalams or provinces, further subdivided into valanadus and nadus. Settlements of peasants known as Ur became prosperous with the spread of irrigated agriculture. Groups of such villages formed larger units called Nadu. Now the kings, they used to have council of ministers to help them. The king used to maintain strong army and navy. Now the entire kingdom was divided into mandalams or provinces. Later on, these mandalams were divided into valanadus and valanadus were divided into nadus. Now settlements of peasants, where peasants used to live, that area was known as Ur, and it became prosperous with the spread of irrigated agriculture. Now group of such villages forms large units called nadus. The village council and the Nadu performed several administrative functions, including dispensing justice and collecting taxes. Rich peasants of the Velala caste exercised considerable control over the affairs of the Nadu under the supervision of the central Chola government. The Chola kings gave some rich landowners titles of a villain or peasant serving three kings or chief as market for respect and entrusted them with important officers of the state at the center. Now the village council and the Nadu, they performed several administrative functions, including giving justice and collecting taxes. Now rich peasants, they exercised control over the Nadu and under the supervision of central Chola government. And Chola kings, they gave rich land owners certain titles so that they can get respect from the peasants, and some important officers of the state also were entrusted with the large peasants or rich peasants. The Brahmins often received land grants or Brahmadaya. As a result, a large number of Brahmana settlements emerged in the Kaveri Valley as in other parts of South India. Each Brahmadaya was looked after by an assembly or sabha of prominent Brahmana landholders. These assemblies worked very efficiently. Their decisions were recorded in detail in inscriptions, often on the stone wall of temples. Now Brahmins, they used to receive land grants, and there was large number of Brahmin settlements on the bank of Kaveri river in South India. Now these people, they used to look after the land by an assembly or a sabha or group of people. They used to look after the land, and these assemblies worked very efficiently, and the decisions taken by these assemblies were recorded in detail in inscription on the stone walls of the temples. Associations of traders known as nagarams also occasionally performed administrative functions in towns. Inscriptions from Uttamerur in Chiliguput district of Tamil Nadu provide details of the way in which the Sabha was organized. The Sabha had separate committee to look after irrigation works, gardens, temples, etc. Name of those eligible to be member of these committees were written on small tickets of palm leaf. These tickets were put into an earthenware pot, from which a young boy was asked to take out the ticket one by one for each committee. Now, in these traders, they had they used to perform administrative functions also. And here there is a description given from the village of Tamil Nadu, which provide details on the sabhas and how they organized. Now, sabha used to have separate committees to look after various departments like irrigation work, garden, or temples. Now, people who want to become member of sabha, they used to write name of themselves on palm leaf, and they used to keep it in an earthen pot. A small boy or a young boy was called out to take out those tickets, and those the names whose which were written on the tickets used to become the member of the sabha. Now, there were various types of land. Chola inscription mentioned several categories of land. First, land of non-Brahmins proprietors. Second, land gifted to Brahmins. Third, land for the maintenance of a school. Fourth, land gifted to temples. Fifth, land donated to Jinnah institutions. Today we have learnt about the administration of the empire. For your homework, first question: what are the types of land as per Chola inscriptions? Thank you.